Okay, let's just jump right in. We're about to talk about a technology that is going to completely change the game for a population the size of a continent. Today, we're explaining how AI is creating a brand new credit frontier for the world's unbanked. And the scale of this, it's just mind boggling. Right now, there are 1.4 billion adults on this planet who are completely invisible to the traditional financial system. No bank accounts, no credit cards, no formal loan history. To a bank, they basically don't exist. The heart of the problem really boils down to this phrase. They're considered credit invisible and data poor. That's what the industry calls them. And all it means is they don't have that formal paper trail, that specific history that banks have always leaned on to decide if you're a good bet for a loan. So, for decades, the financial world has looked at this massive group of people and just seen risk. But what if that's the wrong way to look at it entirely? What if, with the right tools, this isn't a risk at all, but one of the single greatest economic opportunities of our lifetime? And that's the huge shift in thinking that AI is forcing on us. This shift really starts by getting rid of a major misconception. This group, sometimes called the bottom of the pyramid, they're not passive or disconnected. Not at all. In fact, it's a digitally active, really aspirational powerhouse. Millions and millions of them have smartphones, and they're creating data every single day. And that data, well, that's the whole key. It's what's allowing for this fundamental change in how we figure out who's creditworthy. We're moving away from these old, stiff models and into something way more dynamic and, honestly, a lot more accurate. It's a total AI-first approach. Okay, so what I love about this slide is how clearly it breaks down that shift. On the left, you've got the old model. It looked at static stuff: your age, your income, your formal banking past. But the new model, the one powered by AI, it looks at what's called alternative data. It's all about what you do, not just who you are. Things like how often you top up your phone credit, whether you pay your utility bills on time, even the patterns in your social networks. It all paints this incredibly rich picture of how reliable you are financially. So, what do you get when you put all this new data into the system? You get something called a synthetic credit score. And this is really the crucial piece of the puzzle. It's a score that, frankly, doesn't care if you've ever stepped foot in a bank. It's built from all that real-world data to show a person's actual ability to repay a loan. It's just a much more honest measure of creditworthiness. All right, so this isn't just a cool idea. It's already happening. Let's look at how this is being applied in the real world. By 2026, we're really seeing three main ways this whole AI-first approach is playing out. So first up is something called algorithmic cash flow underwriting. The easiest way to think about this is buy now, pay later. So imagine a gig worker, maybe a Gojek driver in Southeast Asia. An AI can look at their ride history and see, hey, this person has a really stable income stream. And just like that, it unlocks their ability to buy things they need because the system gets their real cash flow, not some non-existent credit score. Now, the second model gets a little more technical, but it is fascinating. It uses something called graph neural networks, or GNNs. This is all about looking at relationships to spot fraud and assess risk. Picture a small village where one person consistently does business with a trusted local shop owner. The AI sees that connection, that little trusted hub, and their creditworthiness actually goes up because of that association. It's like a digital version of the community vouching for you. And just to put a quick definition on that, GNNs are basically a kind of AI that's just brilliant at analyzing connections. They can map out a whole community's financial interactions and find these clusters of reliability. That makes it possible to lend with confidence even when you have almost no traditional data on one single person. And that brings us to the third model, which is probably the most advanced of the bunch: hyper-personalized micro-tiering. This is a huge leap. We're going beyond microfinance, which usually targets small groups, to something you could almost call nanofinance, financial products built for just one person. And this example just makes it so clear. A farmer in Kenya gets a text message out of the blue with a custom crop insurance offer. Why right then? Because an AI model saw satellite data that predicted weird weather for their specific area, and it instantly priced that offer based on that farmer's personal history of crop yields. It's just unbelievably precise and personal. So, where's all of this heading? What happens when this technology goes from being a cool experiment to just how things are done? As this stuff becomes widespread, it's not just fixing an old problem, it's creating a whole new world. Let's take a look out towards 2030. And listen, This isn't some far-off future. The timeline for this shift is moving really, really fast. By 2026, this AI revolution in credit scoring is going to be mainstream. But just a few years after that, by 2030, the ripple effects are going to create a totally new kind of financial divide. I think this slide says it all. The old divide was so simple, right? You were either banked or you were unbanked. But pretty soon, that distinction is going to be meaningless. The new divide, the one that's going to matter, is between people who are AI scored, meaning their alternative data can be read and used to get them financial access, and those who are still truly invisible, even to the algorithm. So the takeaway here is absolutely crucial. The companies that own these unique proprietary AI scoring models are going to become the new gatekeepers. They won't just be finance companies anymore. They will literally control the gateway to credit, to insurance, to everything for the entire world's emerging middle class. The whole power dynamic of global finance is about to get a major shake. And that leaves us with this final and maybe most important question. This tech is on the brink of solving the problem of financial access on a global scale. That's incredible. But it creates a new challenge, one that might be even harder. As we hand these massive decisions over to algorithms, how in the world do we make sure they're fair? How do we prevent bias? And how do we guarantee this new system actually helps people move up instead of holding them back? That is the next great frontier.